Our house price, we want that in dollars. Our down payment, we want that in dollars. But what we're going to do is for C6, we're going to say what our percentage is on our down payment. So, like, for example, we'll make this a percentage. And so, for example, the example we were going off of was 350,000, not 3.5 million, 353,000 off of 20% interest. And if you wanted to just get rid of these decimals here, this situation, what you can just do is click the back button up here, the 0 minus thing or whatever. Now, to take our housing price times our down payment, we're going to literally hit equals this cell, shift 8 times this cell, and that'll be our down payment. All right. So then our loan amount would be D5 minus D6. So we're going to hit equals D5 minus D6. Everybody cool with that? So the first thing we did was D5. Oops. First thing we did was D5 was a dollar sign. That's all we did, click in there. And then C6 is a percentage. Then I put in the numbers, 350,000 and 20%. That's all I've done. At D5 times C6. And use times with that asterisk. But you can see this is what it yields. Like, for example, if I change this to 150,000, it'll automatically update that. All right, so the loan amount is $280,000. So that's our loan amount. Okay. Then the annual interest rate, I want this as a percentage over here. So we're going to say percent. And, let's say your interest rate is 5% for this particular scenario. We'll go back and actually see what his scenario was, but for now, we'll just use that. So if that's the case, what we can do is we can say, okay, the annual interest rate will literally be, or how much you're paying in interest will be how much you were loaned times your annual interest rate. Now, remember, we got how much your loan amount, from subtracting D5 and D6. You can see that right there, D5 minus D6. In other words, how much the house is worth minus how much you put down on the house. So if you put 0% down, you can see that these would be the exact same. Does that make sense? But if I put 20% down, then I'm actually only being loaned 280,000. Now, the annual interest payment that you're actually going to be paying is going to be, and actually instead of annual interest rate, I'm just going to say annual interest, because this is actually the interest rate. This is how much you're going to be paying in interest. So let's do that real quick. 280 times 5. So it's going to be equals this cell times this cell. And you can highlight a cell by just clicking on it once you hit equals. Okay. So this is how much you would be paying in interest, or getting an interest per year, is 14,000. Now, number of years, for example, there's nothing we really need to do here, but we're just use 30 for an example here. Number of payments per year is 12, right? Because, you're paying every month. Payments per period, or your payment per period. Well, to do this, we're going to use something called PMT. So I'm going to show you how to work that out. So we're going to hit equals negative PMT. So PMT stands for periodic payment for an annuity investment. Okay. So it's periodic payment for an annuity investment. It allows us to take into account all of the percentages and everything else that's going on here. There are three numbers that we need to put into this PMT thing. And make sure it's negative PMT, by the way. First is going to be your rate. Well, your interest rate is going to be cell C8, right? That's your interest rate. The next, number of periods. Well, let's think about it. The number of periods would be how many years your loan is times how many payments per year. So we would say this times this. Okay. And then the present value, or basically the beginning value of your loan, would be your loan amount. So D7. And so you can see the full code up here. Equals negative PMT C8, comma, D9 plus times D10, comma, D7. Oh. Notice this is annual interest. We need monthly interest. So take that C8. We're going to divide that by 12. There we go. So C8 divided by 12 because we need it to be monthly, not annually. All right. Sum of payments. Basically, just be how many payments you have, which would be 360. And the way we do 360 is we're going to hit equals this cell times this cell, and then times. So basically, this is the amount of payments, D9 times D10, times how much you're paying in payments. So this is how much you would pay. And your interest cost is just going to be your sum of payments. In other words, how much you pay over the long term of your loan minus how much the loan actually, minus how much the loan is. So we're going to take equals D12 minus D7, your loan amount. And that should be it. That should be it. All right, now let's go off the video and see if we're getting the same things that he's getting.
I'm going to go through my
let's take a look at his numbers.
Side of the down payment.
All right, so he's got $350,000, 20%. All right, so let's do that. 350, 20%. Boom, we got that 280. But the interest rate he's using is 2.89. 2.89. So let's do that. Change this. 2.89%. 30 years, 12 payments per year. He's getting 164. We're getting 163.95. So 164. Cool. Sum of payments, you're getting the same thing. $419,220. We're getting the same thing he's getting, and then interest cost, the same thing that he's getting. So that's the first half. Everybody cool with that? Good. Now, taxes annually, insurance annually, HOA, and he's got these things highlighted, different various things highlighted. So I'm actually going to do the same thing, and I'm going to show you how to highlight. So if you click on, say, cell D5, to highlight that, you're just going to go to the fill color, and we'll just make it this little yellow here. So fill color is right next to that A in the top right. Like that yellow. What else did he make? Yellow. Interest rate and life of loan in years. Okay. So we'll start off with $0 in each category. In his scenario, he's going to say He's going to put $6,500 in taxes. We're going to talk about how to calculate taxes. And he's going to put $1,000 in insurance. So I guess that's probably private mortgage insurance. Because in this situation, will we have to pay PMI? Yes or no? See who remembers. Do you have to pay PMI in this scenario? No, because yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody remembers. Yeah, if you pay less than 20%, you're gonna have to pay PMI. But if you don't, you pay 20% or more, you can get away with paying PMI. All right, so the full housing cost. Let's suppose there's no HOA fee, monthly fee. So the full housing costs are going to be basically how much you're paying per period on the actual mortgage itself. And then we're going to take your annual taxes divided by 12, take your insurance divided by 12, plus your HOA. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit equals. We're going to hit this D11 plus we're going to take our taxes and divide by 12. No, I put everything in parentheses, but you probably don't have to. Take your taxes, divide by 12. Let me blow this up a little bit so I can see a little bit better. Our taxes divided by 12 plus our insurance divided by 12. Put that in parentheses. And then plus your monthly HOA fee. Remember, I'm dividing by 12 just because, those are yearly situations. So with PITI, right? PI, your principal payments and your insurance and your taxes and your interest. With all of that combined, we are getting $1,788.95. Yep. 1789 is what he had. And then with utilities, so if we're adding utilities, it's basically just this cell plus 250 or plus whatever you want your utilities to be. So if utilities are 250, for example, we could just say equals this plus 250. And then you get a full idea of how much you're paying in mortgage. If let's say you thought that your utility should be $400 a month or something like that, just go back in here and change this to 400. Everybody cool with that? So I think he used 400 and you can see I'm getting the same numbers as he did. All right. We got time. Now comes the harder part, but it's not really that hard, really. All right, so now we're going to actually determine if this is affordable or not. All right. So to determine whether this home is affordable or not, we're going to create some scenarios, and he has 3 of them. All right, so he's got the scenario where you got person 1 makes $50,000, person 2 makes $50,000 if you're a couple or something like that, or it's 2 people going in for a home together. You can see, or this could be your first source of income. This could be your second source of income, and maybe even third source of income. So we're going to start off with 50,000, which is the median family income, and 50,000. And what we're going to do here is we're going to highlight these 3 like that. Now we're going to make it dollar, and cool. Now your total gross, this is how much you're actually going to be making, will obviously be all 3 sources of income put together. So we can say real easy, we can just say equals sum of basically the values G6 through G8. So we could just say G6, G8. Yeah, but it didn't do what it was supposed to. So if you want to make it even easier on yourself, just click through G6 plus G7 plus G8. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't just automatically fix that, but whatever. All right. Total net. So think about it. So if you bring $100,000 in a year, you're only really going to take about 70% of it, right? Because the rest are going to go to taxes and insurance and whatnot. But he used the 68%, so we're going to use the same thing, but you can change it, and that's okay. So we're going to hit equals. We're going to take your gross income and multiply it by 0.68. So this is how much you actually take home, right? This is your take home pay. You make 100,000, you only take home 68. Yeah, we hate taxes, don't we? But they're necessary. They're important. So your monthly net is you're going to take this and then divide by 12. So equals your monthly net divided by 12. So you're basically taking home $5,600 a month, which is pretty good. Now, your mortgage to your income percentage. Mortgage to income percentage. Basically, we're going to take how much you're paying in your mortgage, okay, divided by your income. So we're going to hit equals D11 divided by G11. And we want this as a percentage. So all I did was I clicked on cell G13. All right. And I probably should highlight this, honestly. Should do that right now. But I've got my payment per period divided by my monthly net per period. These two. Actually, I'm going to put these in purple. This could, oh, no. Orange, I guess. And like I said, you can customize this however you want. But here we go. Does that make sense? So in other words, you can see that your mortgage is 20.5% of your income. This scenario, he must be using a different. He's getting 31.5.
Basically put 0, you make 50 grand a year. This is what the numbers look like. Okay, very simple.
No. Hold on. Let's see what he's doing.
On the top left, this results in a monthly net income based on these numbers of roughly $5,667. Now, the beauty of this is that you can actually see what percentage of the mortgage income, so you can see here with the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and HOA are taking up of your net income, and then you can see the second number with the all.
Oh, I see what he did. All right, so instead of using, okay, so let's fix this. So instead of using the just payment per period, he's actually using the PITI, which is this down here. So instead of D11, let's make that D19. All right, so you can see, because this is how much you're actually paying on your mortgage, right? So you're going to do that divided by that. And then this one would be the utilities plus. So if you're doing utilities plus, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to hit equals this one instead divided by your monthly net income. And once again, we're going to turn this into a percentage. So your monthly income after housing expenses, basically, you can think about it like this. You're going to take your monthly net income, and you're going to multiply it by 1 minus this, I think is probably what he's using. So you can say equals monthly net times parentheses 1 minus your mortgage with utilities. So one minus just means the percentage of everything left over. So for example, if your housing was 40%, 1 minus 40% is 60%. Does that make sense? So 1 minus whatever, it just means everything else. So this is how much you'd have left over, and yep, I'm getting the same numbers here. And then times your income basically is how much your house is worth times how much income you have. So you're going to do equals how much the house is worth divided by how much your income is, your total gross income. That's how you get that number. And that's it. And then just like we did with the interest calculator, we can just take these numbers and stretch them out. You can put zeros back in later or you want to. It'll help to make everything else do exactly what it should do. Supposedly. I'll figure out what. Lord. Well, you might have to put a little thought into the rest. But that's it, guys. That's it. So if you need anything else, just let me know. You're going to need this mortgage calculator for what we're going to be doing next week. Other than that, we are done.